Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today I have with me once again my good friend Keith, and he brought over a very special whiskey. Keith, tell us.
Springbank 15. People that follow my channel know that I'm and Mike knows that
Loves that Springbank.
I'm a Springbank fanboy. They're my favorite distillery. They do things the right way. You know, it's like a mom and pop's place, a craft distillery. You know, they do everything on plant from bottling, maturing. You know, they actually hire part of the local population. Like they could, you know, do automation, you know, and have machines do all the bottling, but they actually pay people in the community to do it. They do things right. They don't chill filter. They don't color. They have higher ABVs. They use good quality casks. What do you know about Springbank, just like the distillery in general?
Well, I heard you're a spokesperson for Springbank, and you're changing your whiskey YouTube channel from Malted Man Cave to the Springbank.
I still have never, as much as I like preach about them, they have never contacted me for any free whiskey, so I don't know. Screw that.
No one gives me anything. No one gives me anything. Well, Springbank, you turned me on to this. And you're not the only one who thinks this is a fantastic whiskey. One of the places that you know that I get some of my higher-end whiskeys is a place called the Party Source in Bellevue, Kentucky, which is just over the river in Cincinnati. And the guys there always push the Springbanks on me as well. I picked up the 16-year-old local barley, which you got a chance to try some.
Thank you.
And a few other whiskeys. And I enjoy them. I enjoy some more than others. I enjoy the higher ABV ones, the cask strength ones, like the 12-year-old you share with me.
Yep.
Having said that, what is this?
46%?
46%. Yep. A good standard for an artisan whiskey, wouldn't you say?
You know, I should have done my homework. I know there's sherry involved in this, but I don't know if there's bourbon in sherry. I know for sure the sherry cask. I'm not sure if there's any bourbon.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a dark whiskey if it's just bourbon.
Yeah, I think there might be a little bourbon in it, but I think it's majority sherry. But I'm not sure. If you know, leave it in the comments. Let us know.
Oh yes.
Normally I know my stuff with Springbank, but I don't. That's one of the few I haven't researched.
It's my whiskey channel. You can just treat it like a dirty old rug. Just come in with your muddy feet and just whatever. We'll go with it.
So this should be, I think, peated anywhere from like 15 to 25 ppms, somewhere along that range. So kind of mild peated. I think this. Well, I would say this is a good entry level for people who don't like peat, but the funkiness kind of puts newbies off.
To me, Springbank, as someone who appreciates the whiskey but who's not a complete fanatic about it,
crazy.
The first thing you really pick up is that Springbank characteristic, or as the fans like to say, the funk.
Yep.
And that dirty, funky, waxy smell is right there.
So for me, it's like it's like a little bit of soot. There's a sour sherry, and there's a fruitiness. To me, it's like Tutti Frutti bubblegum. You've ever had Tutti Frutti bubblegum? You remember that back when we were kids? With like the zebra?
No, I've always been a man.
A man doesn't chew gum when you're like 8 years old? I'm so manly, I don't chew bubblegum when I'm 8 years old.
We did Big League Chew. We ripped open a bag and just shoved some
I love
strands
Big
in the
League
mouth.
Chew, but you never had Tutti Frutti bubblegum just because it says Tutti Frutti.
That's right. I'm not going with that.
Insecure with his masculinity over here.
I'm kidding. I've had Tutti Frutti bubblegum. I'm just not picking it up on this nose.
So then it's almost like with rums you have this called dunder. It's kind of this like funkiness that you get in rum. Have you ever heard of that?
Just now?
So...
A dunder?
Yeah, it's called dunder.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's dunder.
Well, let me tell you what I get from somebody who is not as familiar with Springbanks. You get that super waxy note. There is some fruit to that. There is a light peat, almost like something along the lines of a Talisker peat, as far as the intensity of it.
Yep. I get lime and pepper.
Definitely a lot of spices just in general. But yeah, pepper
and lime, like almost like lime Skittles mixed with like pepper.
It's almost like this. Marinated chicken tacos I get at my local Mexican eatery, my authentic eatery. I get a little bit of that. So the marinated chicken tacos are on a corn shell, and it has a lime and a little bit of guacamole, like a slice of guacamole, and light onions.
It's making me hungry.
It smells a little bit like that.
Yeah. So most Springbanks, so I get this from like two distilleries. It's Springbank and Brookladdy. There's like a little bit of like uncooked sugar cookies. A little bit of like uncooked sugar cookies.
Raw dough.
Raw dough.
Raw dough. I like my cookies undercooked. I'm a soft batch guy.
Yeah. Do you think you get some saltiness with this? I do.
There's so many spices. I don't know if salt's something that I pick up, but there is like, again, when I said like a Talisker style peat, there's something that peat that's very coastal.
This does kind of have some similarities to Talisker 18.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, I'm not as familiar with it as you are. I'm speaking as someone who's probably had 4 or 5 different Springbanks in my life. I've had like the 12, the 10, the 16 local barley. I've had the 18.
You've had more than that. You've had the long row. It's not Springbank.
Oh, yeah.
You've had long row. You've
Sure.
had long row 12 red, Pinot Noir.
I'm speaking completely just Springbank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my 5th. But this 15-year-old is a nice mix of the punchiness that was in the 12 cast strength and a little bit of that refinement with that small little bit of vinegar like I got in the 18.
Yep.
You get a little bit of that?
Did I give you some of the 18? You've had Springbank 18?
I've had it. You haven't given me any. Tomorrow I got more of that vinegar smell.
Do you like I love sweet and sour stuff. So there's always typically, not always, not every Springbank, but there's like, this one has like the sourness that you get on the 18 and the 15. And I love it. I can see how it's off-putting to some people, but I like it.
It's a very unique nose, very similar to say like a peated whiskey, like a heavily peated whiskey, like a Ardbeg Lafroiger Lagavulin. You either really like it or you don't. I appreciate it, but this is probably what, an $80 bottle? No, less, more.
Yeah, it's like up to.
I'm so good at pricing.
This can be up to 150 in some places, and then if you buy it online, it's going to be up to 170 plus. Now you can probably get this for $190 in some places if you're lucky. It just Springbank is kind of hit and miss. You can get like a really good deal on it. It can be like crazy extorted. So
okay.
I think I got this online for a fairly good deal. I can't remember. I think it was like 70-ish euros.
So it's an expensive,
and then shipping on top of that.
It's an expensive 15-year-old whiskey.
Yeah.
But you get that it's a quality product for sure.
At 46%, unchill filtered, not colored. I don't know. So I've reviewed this on my channel already, and I bought another one. I got a bottle of the Glendronach 21 Parliament.
Yes.
On Abbey whiskey.
Yeah,
I threw this in on top of it. Like, if you're gonna pay shipping costs, sometimes it's cheaper to get multiple.
Never get one.
So I saw this I'm throwing this in, and this was even better than I remembered it. I was drinking this a couple nights ago. I was like, wow, I think I undervalued the 15. I've always been a 12 cast strength, the Long Row Red series.
That's a good series. I love those reds. I appreciate the 11.
You're gonna love that 11 Cabernet Franc that I gave you.
I'll bring that to you guys here soon. You can definitely tell. I've had enough whiskeys to know, even though this isn't the distillery that I naturally gravitate to, I can tell this is an extremely quality whiskey. Again, you can smell the high ABV. It's a complex whiskey.
Vanilla, lime, tutti frutti bubblegum, soot, sugar cookies. Man, I love it.
And just a little bit of mint at the end too.
Yes, eucalyptus or mint.
A mint that I almost get like in Lagavulin 12-year-old cast strength. Just like right at the end, there's like a little bit of that tangy mint.
Yep. And
all the things you were saying too.
Yep.
Big League Chew more than Tutti Frutti, but
this guy.
That may be a cultural thing. All right, first sip time.
That was a lot of water.
A bit much on the water?
We're turning into Ralphie. Have you seen that video of whiskey.com where Horse Looning's son, what is his son's name again?
Horse Jr.?
No, I don't know. Benedict. Okay. He does a video, and I think they're probably friendly with Ralphie, but they were kind of mocking him in a video. He just kept taking spoonfuls of water. He ended up putting like 10.
He does put a lot of spoonfuls.
It was a really funny video.
Right away, a lot more spiciness on the palate than was on the nose. And I know we were talking about things like pepper and things like that, but man, pepper, cinnamon, just like a really aggressive clove too. I don't know how else to say it. The clove it's really predominant on the palate.
Sour sherry. There's a lot of sourness on this one that I enjoy. Lime. It's like lemon and lime, citrus.
There's definitely some citrus and like a vinegar sourness.
Vinegar.
It's almost like when you put it on French fries, like at Five Guys.
Malt vinegar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like so, like.
Do you like malt vinegar?
Oh, yeah.
Malt vinegar on French fries.
Yeah, I have some there. So when I go to Five Guys hamburgers, I usually have to split the fries with my girl, which means I get like 30% of them, and they're salty. She loves them.
Amelia's not gonna like this video.
She'll love that.
Called out.
Yeah. She's a fit girl, but she loves French fries. So she wants them heavily salted, and there's those thick potato fries. I mean, they're the thick cut ones at the Five Guys.
Yeah.
And then she just dumps that malt vinegar on them, and I get a little bit of that. Not a little bit of a decent amount.
Yeah. And you get that saltiness that you'd get like on French fries.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. It's just potato, salt, which you mentioned earlier. That didn't really get on the nose, but I got on the palate, and then malt vinegar. Malt vinegar. It's right there, and that was something I remember about the 18. It was malt vinegar, like it was just like I was eating French fries.
I don't know. I may have been led by because the Springbank 18, the bottle is blue or purplish.
Yeah,
blue.
purplish, yeah, it's like a lavender.
And I got blueberries. I don't know like how much it like just seeing blue and it's like psychosomatic, but I got a lot of blueberries.
On that 18-year-old?
18, yeah. Along with other stuff, but I remember that specifically.
Yeah. I almost remember one time when I was in England, like, you know, when you go to London, similar to like to Philadelphia, if you're walking around downtown during the day, like Monday through Friday, you'll see a bunch of street vendors selling cheesesteak sandwiches in Philly. And you'll see a bunch of people doing the fish and chips things in London.
Yeah.
So they'll have a piece of fish and the chips being fries, and they'll put malt vinegar all over that. And dude, I get a lot of that in this.
Sounds amazing. Again, it's not as prominent as it is on the nose, especially since we watered it down a little bit. But in the background, I feel like holding all this up is uncooked sugar dough cookies.
That Springbank funk to me is a weird mix of undercooked or left out too long something. That's what I get.
So
am I crazy?
What I think when I think of the funk, I think of undercooked sugar dough cookies mixed with soot, like a chimney soot.
Sure.
Mixed with kippers, which me and you don't know a whole lot about what kippers is, but in the UK it's like a fish, like kind of a fishiness.
Okay.
And then mixed with that malt vinegarness. All those four things combined to me is how I get like the funk.
Those were all there. I mean, those are all there. That vinegar, that salty vinegar French fry thing is absolutely there. What I think when I say maritime or Talisker-ish smoke, I think that's what you're referring to as a portion of this as well. And again, undercooked or left out too long, yeah, there's smokiness, so maybe that could be sootiness. That could also be just like a curing of meat.
Yep.
Or, you know, there's a bit of that savoriness.
There is a meatiness with pepper. Like a meat that had a crap ton of pepper on it for me.
We have a couple of local places that do barbecue. They have their own fires. If it's like, so at the end of the day, when like that last one's been sitting out there for a little while and they're just trying to get rid of the last one they've cut into for that day, like I get a little bit of that savoriness. But again, there's some salt in that. There's some pepper in that. Maybe a little bit of that mustard barbecue sauce.
So I went on my honeymoon with my wife. We went to St. Martin. Have you ever been there?
No.
So, we had this, it was grouper fish, and they had like a lime garlic like marinade. And something about like if you had like a grouper or some kind of, not a really super fishy fish, you know, like there's certain fish that taste fishier than others. I don't like super fishy fish.
Right.
But
I know exactly what you mean.
So like a little bit of like kind of like fish that's not super fishy, and then you have like that lime marinade with a crap ton of pepper. I get a lot of that.
Yeah, there's like
citrus,
there's like
lemon and lime.
A peppery swordfish characteristic to it.
Yep.
I agree.
Because swordfish isn't that fishy.
Correct. When you said not that fishy, I was thinking swordfish.
Yep.
So I tell you, I'm at 91 out of 100 on this. Where you at?
I can't remember what I used. I think I gave it a 90.
It's all about today.
So
Today can be different. You just said 1,006.
I don't like it as much with the water. I feel like on the palate at least, the nose opens up with water.
Agreed.
I'm gonna say 91. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Almost close to 92. It's that good.
It's a good one. Expensive 15-year-old, but a good one.
Yep.
Want to thank you for joining for another one of Mike's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, folks, I wish you happy drinking. I'll see you in the comments section.